Hey guys and gals, this is Josh and Andy from the Holochronicles Podcast.
What's up?
It's been a little while since we've posted a recent podcast, but we've had one in the back pocket for a few weeks now that we just haven't posted. We've been a little busy in the summertime with home projects, vacations, all the things that you like to do when you got a little bit of time off, as is the case for me anyway. Josh, I don't know about you.
Agreed.
Okay, so what we wanted to do here is just put a little maybe 10-minute intro on this older pod that we're going to release to you now.
It's a bit dated.
Yeah, there's some things.
Just the news.
Yeah, just the news part is a little bit dated. Episode 20 of the Holochronicles will be out to you now. It's about 3 weeks old. And in that time, since we have last recorded, a few things have happened.
Yeah.
First of all, we've featured 3 different Show Me Your Collections, hashtag Show Me Your Collection, which happens every Saturday. By the way, if you're interested and you want to show us and our followers what kind of little collection you've started up, maybe it's small, maybe it's big, anything in between, or maybe you're focused just in one specific thing, we'd love to see it. So get a hold of us, DM us,
on Twitter at Holochronicles.
Please do. And then we would love to show what you got. We love seeing what everyone's into. And sometimes that even ends up resulting in hooking each other up with things we're looking for.
Sure.
We network and try and get the right things to the right people.
Or maybe even a guest appearance on our pod with the right collection.
That could also happen. So there's a lot of benefits.
Should happen.
So the 3 that I'm just going to go through who they are. We did a second follow-up Show Me Your Collection with Mr. Daft Prawn. We featured some of his figures and vehicles the first go around. The second go around had to do with the Metal Earth.
Awesome.
And those were very cool.
Such patience. Such
delicate
dexterity.
Surgeon's touch. Such
hand strength, I think, is another quality you need.
Then we featured some unpunched carded original figures from at Helga Still, which pops up on my screen as Don S. Well, hello, what have we here? And then a third collection featured or was from at Qui-Gon Tim. And we really appreciate those 3 guys that shared what they had with us, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing who comes up next. Those are a highlight for me. I really enjoy that stuff.
Good. So one thing I'll add to that is, don't forget, we also got a special fan gift.
Yes,
which is right behind you.
Yes, I think we talked about that.
Did we?
On number 20?
That's what I'm not sure of. See, it's been so far out. I don't know that we do.
Well, we definitely took pictures and showed it on Twitter.
We did.
And I don't. It's a Mace Windu.
Custom.
Yeah, it's a custom Mace Windu. Hashtag Mace lives.
Mace lives. Mace lives.
Also, what has recently come and gone is the San Diego Comic-Con, which is a big event for a lot of fandoms, including the Star Wars fans, of course. And there was a few toys that came out, and us being a collector's podcast, we would be remiss if we didn't discuss them, albeit briefly.
Sith Troopers!
Red Stormtroopers called Sith Troopers. Josh, your take on them?
Sith Troopers! I don't know. What's a Sith Trooper?
Yeah, so now we know what that T-shirt depicted. There was a depiction of what we now know as a Sith Trooper's kind of the black part of the helmet.
Right.
And it just said IX on it for 9. That came out like maybe even a year ago. And I was like, well, what the heck is that? And
right.
I was like, well, it kind of looks like a face of a helmet maybe. But now we know what it is. It's been confirmed. Also confirms a few things on that poster that came out a little bit, that it maybe wasn't a BS poster. Maybe it is a teaser poster.
We might see old 3PO rocking a bowcaster.
That would be interesting for sure. Oh dear. So the Sith Trooper came out, the Black Series Sith Trooper, and he looks very sharp, very red. My take on that is that that they are now like what the Crimson Guard, the Praetorian Guard.
Yeah,
That's kind of. I mean, they don't have any.
It also
they don't have a
implies-
staff.
it also implies like not a rebirth, but kind of a like Sith is still a thing, right? We're not,
Yeah.
with the loss of the Emperor and Darth,
And
Kylo's
Snoke.
and Snoke, Kylo's still Sithing it up. So there you go.
Yeah, and
Whatever that means.
And
Even
again,
Snoke never did he invoke the word Sith ever? Was he ever called a Sith? I can't recall that, so I don't believe so.
so he was just Supreme Leader,
Supreme Leader, so dark side dude.
definitely, and he came and went.
He did.
Another toy that came out was a Darth Vader figure, but he was multicolored. He was on a card.
Yeah, what was
Kinda
that?
like
the
the
prototype. They called it.
Prototype, yeah, he's multicolored.
On a retro card.
Each limb joint was a different color. The lightsaber could be yellow or red or orange or blue or green. That all of the parts could maybe purple. All the parts, the cape, the head, they're multicolored, and they look weird, kind of cool.
I guess you have to like assume or just trust that that's what a prototype looks like. Obviously, they're coloring the parts for distinction. The red one's the right arm, the blue one's the left arm. Whatever.
Yeah,
I've
but
never
there's
seen a prototype figure before, so other than like Boba, but yeah.
Oh, by the way, did you see the
Like over 125K, right?
$113,000 for the prototype L spring-loaded rocket Boba Fett original figure?
Is that all?
I posted on Twitter that I got outbid at the last moment by $100,000.
Yeah.
Dang, missed it by that much.
That's right.
Did you get my reference there?
Sure.
Get smart,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone gets that.
Max. Okay.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Where were we? Oh, yes. The multicolored Vader, which they're on eBay for about $50 if
The Vader alone?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
by
I haven't checked
himself.
Is that another, we got to run around to Target in August and do stuff?
It's supposed to be coming out August 2nd, I believe. You can maybe find those. Good luck. There's a few versions of them. So there's like, I want to say there's 4 versions.
Of course
there
there
might be
are.
6, but I'm confident there's at least 4. But anyway, yeah. And so have to hunt those down probably sooner or later.
Good luck.
And then there was a 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back Black Series Boba Fett. So he's a 6-inch figure, but he looks like the original Boba Fett, not like the Black Series Boba Fett.
Okay.
So he looks more like the toy figure instead of true to life figure.
Gotcha.
And I ordered one.
Sure.
I got one. I bought one from a guy who got it at Comic-Con. So it's a Comic-Con exclusive.
You didn't tell me that.
I
Son of a gun.
Well, something's got to be surprise.
Well, surprise.
Surprise, Josh.
Surprise, I hate you.
Oh, that was a surprise. And then, let's see. Josh, I want to say, though, that you did pre-order something for the September time frame.
Well, yeah, it's weird. It should have been the July timeframe, but I guess it got pushed back. It's a Pulse item. It's the Darth Vader Hyperreal Black Series guy. Mostly you're buying the box and a super detailed figure. Looks like he comes with multiple hand options, which is great.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. A whole array of hands. And, and he's super, super detailed. So we'll see. It's the first item of this type, qualified as a hyper real.
Right.
Don't know what that means. So I'm excited to, I mean, by don't know what that means, I'm saying that I've kind of purposely not read up on it. I wanted to show up and I want to check for myself. So
yeah, when it gets here, I want to see how it compares
it's
to
expensive though.
Like a Gentle Giant or a
Something,
Sideshow
yeah.
Collectible or even
Yeah.
a Kobo Kayadu, or I can't remember the full name of those little
Me either.
statuettes. But they're very detailed and cool and stuff. So maybe this is the Hasbro Pulse version of that.
Yeah, and it was
So we'll see.
It was quite a bit like outside of the normal realm for is it classified as Black Series? It's been so long. I literally ordered it probably beginning of the year. So
Well, you got it from Hasbro.
yeah. So we'll see. Pulse. I got some other Pulse items in the mail too. Some of the let's It's not called vintage. Yeah, something like that.
VC, Vintage Collection.
Yeah. So
yeah, an R2.
An R2, he's right there. And then I got some more coming. So,
well, one thing that I'm excited about.
Pulse is, by the way, Hasbro Pulse. Go sign up. I don't think it costs anything to become a member of Hasbro Pulse, but they definitely send you updates. And it's interesting because they're a little low on Star Wars stuff right now. However, when it does come up, it's pretty good stuff, exclusive, and the price is right most of the time. So sign up,
and they'll deliver it to your door,
straight to your door.
You don't have to go hunting.
Yep.
I've pre-ordered on Entertainment Earth the Black Series Boba Fett helmet, and I'm very excited about that. The Black Series helmets are cool.
I'm angry, and I will go pre-order it myself too. I'll pre-order maybe 2. Throw it in your face. I'll wear 2 helmets. I'm just kidding.
Okay, but that's something that I'm excited about. I haven't gotten a ton of stuff this summer because we've been doing projects and such, but
we totally miss you guys, and we're keeping up on Twitter. I mean, Andy is.
By we, you mean me?
Yeah.
No, but just before we send you off to this older pod that we recorded, I do want to tell you that we will be on a couple podcasts, not ours.
Super excited about this.
Yeah, we had a chance to sit down and visit with Pete Fletzer on the Around the Galaxy podcast. And
great pod, by the way. Great pod.
Follow him. He's a good guy, and he's a good pod too. And I'm not just saying that because we're going to be on it. But
we were listening before.
Totally. But we were his first pod where he interviewed 2 people, and by us being interviewed, we mean we interviewed him for a good chunk of that.
Wait for the pod. It was a good one. I will say this. Here's one teaser for you.
We laughed a lot.
We did laugh a lot. 2 teasers. And due to technical restrictions, Andy and I shared a mic.
So it was an intimate setting.
Our beards may have brushed at one point.
It's like the Star Wars Galaxy version of 2 straws, 1 drink.
Lady in the Tramp.
Lady in the Tramp this pod. But it was a lot of fun. We get to record with the WSTR Media podcast.
Another great pod. Go check them out.
We have been hitting and missing with the Scarif Scuttlebutt crew.
We'll get there.
But we will get there. And we might even have a pretty cool guest lined up.
We got some stuff coming up these weeks, so bear with us through the summer months.
It's not like the time off from podding has been doing nothing. We've been setting some things in motion that we're kind of excited about.
Sure.
Probably, unfolding around mid-August, late August, early September.
Just in time for sweeps. So we're good. We're coming right. Look, we get it.
By the way, Josh, has Bob Iger emailed you
Let me check.
our Star Wars Anaheim podcast reservation yet?
Bob
Iger. Has that come through yet?
And nothing. No, I have nothing.
Nothing. We haven't been
not directly
booked. We haven't.
Directly.
We don't have.
Let me check my junk folder.
Yeah.
I think I blocked it once.
Yeah.
And no, still nothing.
No podcast.
No.
Panel.
I do have something from Walt Disney's daughter. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing.
I was not aware.
Who apparently can't stand Bob Iger, but we'll just keep moving on.
Okay,
love you, Bob.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't distract him from putting us on a panel at Anaheim.
No, it should.
Because we're definitely going to be there.
It's
just a matter of
because Bob sets all that up.
Yeah. I mean, I know.
I got the panels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dibs.
Bob's JFK, apparently.
Dibs.
I have the panels. I don't know what that was either. All right. This is going downhill fast. We should probably let you guys just get to episode 20. It's kind of an off the cuff. Andy and I decided we were going to give you a little intro to this, and I don't know if it was the best idea.
We said 10 minutes. How long is this?
We're at 14. We're doing great.
Oh, hey, that's good by our standards.
We love you guys. We've missed you so much. And
shout out to the BMB.
Big time BMB, Blue Milk Brigade. We miss you, and we're sorry for the absence of our voices in your life.
Because we know you've been hankering.
Oh, man. So, love you guys. We'll see you soon. May the force be with you. Peace out.
You tuned in to the
What's going on, Andy?
Joshua.
How's it going? Welcome to the Holochronicles, episode 20. We're glad to have you. Thanks for listening. And as always, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Holochronicles, and find us on all the major podcast networks like you probably already have. Welcome. What do we got going on, bro?
Welcome, Josh. I think it's been said before, but this one I think is going to be a little bit of a shorter pod today. We're just going to zip through some things.
I've heard you say that.
We're just going to zip through some things, but I want to start off with a couple of shout outs. First off, shout out to the BMB.
What's up, BMB? Who's the BMB? In case you're a new listener.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we've gotten some new listenership recently, and probably a good idea to touch on who we are and what we're about. First of all, the BMB originally a group of four of us who are collectors of Star Wars memorabilia, figures, toys, posters, you name it. And that has been expanded now to those within earshot of our voice, those within eyesight of our Twitter handle.
Sure.
And if you're a collector, if you're a fan of the old and new and everything in between Star Wars related, you are now a member of the BMB, which stands for what, Josh?
The Blue Milk Brigade.
That's just us. That's our corny little group. We are a positive Star Wars podcast, which doesn't necessarily mean we always have positive opinions. Yeah. But we keep it positive. We like to keep the conversation going and keep the lines of communication open and not close anybody off to what is happening with us or what's happening in the Star Wars universe. So shout out to the BMB.
What's up?
I want to give a shout out to a Twitter site and that it's at Galaxy Props. Galaxy, if you've never heard of them, go find them, because I have an appreciation for Star Wars collectors that take their collections or whatever they're into to the next level, in that they make their own stuff.
Right.
They I have a huge appreciation for members of the 501st. Because they are building and making their costumes, and they have to be to certain spec qualifications, and it's just like ridiculously high expectations, and they're awesome. And so I have a big appreciation for people that are into it in that kind of degree. And Galaxy Props, they make stuff. The very first thing that got them on my radar, Josh, was that I saw that they had posted a picture of a thermal detonator.
Right.
And it's to scale, it's handheld size, and it had lights on it that turn off and on. And
yeah, I saw that one. It was beautiful.
That was how they first came across my bow. And everything that I've seen from them since has just kind of blown me away. I'm a bit in awe of the stuff that they do. And the most recent example, and they just happened to post this, or tag me in it, or tag us in it, I should say.
Oh, really? That's great.
That they, now here's what I don't know. I don't know enough about them, if it's one person or if it's a group of people or a couple people, but, forgive me for that. But, they took a Sideshow collectible statue, which, if you know anything about Sideshow collectibles, they are incredibly detailed. They are super cool looking. They do everything from busts to full scale, items, and this
you pay for them.
Oh yes, you pay for the quality.
You do,
and it's definitely quality. Every single one I've ever seen, I've just been super impressed with. But one of my favorites is a Luke on a Tauntaun from Empire Strikes Back, and it probably stands, I would say, maybe a foot and a half.
Yeah,
and it's something. You don't play with these. This is something you put in a display case, or you put in a place where it's not going to get bumped, or like, this is something you take care of. This is not an inexpensive item.
No,
but it's very cool.
The going rate probably on one of those is between $5,000 and $1,000 or something. It just depends.
Yeah, I don't know.
Height's always usually size scale.
But, yeah, I off the top of my head, I don't know what that would run, but it's probably not far off from the $500 range, I would think. So anyway, they're very cool in and of themselves. Well, Galaxy Props took one, and then they also took a Stormtrooper on a dewback, and they painted on him, and they put a leather pouch on the Tauntaun, and like made their accessories a little more, even more realistic. And I think I told you this yesterday. It was like, man, right. I look at the Sideshow collectible, and I'm just like in awe of how cool they are just by themselves. Well, they took that and said, you know what? I think we can make it a little better. And then they did. They painted it. They just did. They just took it to an even higher level of detail, and I was just so impressed with that. I can't say enough good things about them, and I believe that you would be doing yourself a favor by going and checking them out at Galaxy Props, all one word, lowercase, on Twitter, and they'll have examples. They give price guides too, and I'm quite certain they have a website.
And they sell their stuff, right?
They sell their stuff. You can buy things off of them that are really cool, blasters, and like I said, the thermal detonator was the first caught my attention, and that's still in the back of my mind to get. So
fun fact: how many nostrils does a Tauntaun have? I know you know the answer. We talked about it last night.
I do, but
it was something we never noticed.
Yeah.
So I saw Wanda, who is the traveling Tauntaun at Comic-Con. We talked about it on the last pod, which will, but
that would be episode 19.
19. Thank you. And Wanda had 4 nostrils. Like, what the hell? I think I might've said it then, but it's great. Cause on the sideshow I looked, it's $350 just for the Tauntaun. So did the one that the props have a Luke on it?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if that's extra or what, the one I'm seeing here, but anyway, on Sideshow's website, it's $350.
Nice.
Now you can apparently you can add a Luke on there or something. So who knows how much Luke is?
Yeah.
Or even a Han.
But how many nostrils are on a Tauntaun?
There are 4.
There are 4 nostrils on a Tauntaun.
Yes.
Yeah. That was
and
something.
It is even on the vintage Tauntaun.
Yeah.
I'm like, check that. Did you know how many nostrils? And Andy, who is deep into the lore, he's like, I don't know. And then we looked, and sure enough, 4 nostrils.
Yeah, from where I'm sitting, I can see yours, Josh. And there are 2 that you can see prominently, but they're right next to each other.
Just backup nostrils.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, who wouldn't want backup nostrils?
You got
a cold in the cup.
I was going to say, I get very allergic. I get allergic in the springtime. And so having that backup set of nostrils would be
what? I'm going to
handy.
switch to set B.
Yeah, the B valves.
Yeah.
I'm going to just twist and open up the B valve.
Anyway, very, very cool. I appreciate that. I love that.
So shout out to at Galaxy Props. Go check them out.
Also, this show's sponsored
Star Wars News
by at Galaxy Props. Fast on the drops.
I wish they were sponsoring us. I wish we were sponsoring them, man. Okay, news. Star Wars Celebration Anaheim tickets.
Woo!
On sale. And for us, Josh, booked.
They're locked.
We're going.
We did it. Funny story. I don't know if you're out there listening and you had and you were able to go, and you're in, for us, Chicago was a little, for me, timing didn't work. And then there's the travel, and then Orlando, that's even further. Prior to that, I actually purchased tickets to Orlando and didn't go.
Was that in 2017?
I think so. Yeah. And so it's right behind you. I got my lanyard over there. There you go. But on Vader.
Oh yeah.
But this year, West Coast, recognize
West Side,
and we're going. So Holochronicles are locked. But if you went through the experience, it's kind of funny because the website, when you logged on, I was there at 9 a.m. Pacific, ready to go. And as soon as you click the button, they tell you, okay.
And they're off.
Yeah, you're in the queue. Don't worry. We have multiple servers. They even talk about, like, if server goes down, don't worry, we'll throw you over. I mean, they give you way too much explanation because they know the level of nerddom that's hitting this site. And don't hit refresh. Don't hit refresh. So I waited about 15 minutes. Now, me personally, for the betterment of the group, that's all.
Right.
Just for the betterment, just for the, to take care of the BMB and the Holochronicles.
Good times.
I was going after the Jedi level. I was gonna fork up the money, which was $800
for a 4-day pass.
For a 4-day pass,
$200 a day.
Way more than a 4-day pass, though. Like, we're talking, early access to all the lines, panels, etc. I mean, probably if you were to calculate your time over 4 days, even at, let's say, $15 an hour, well worth your money, okay? Because of all the standing. So, but those were sold out in no time. I think that was a bandwidth issue. Whoever had the highest bandwidth won.
Yeah. Or whoever was closest to the servers.
Exactly. So they were sold out. And I know that I think Chicago Jedi tickets on eBay were going for, Jedi level tickets were going for like $3,000. So that's obviously bananas. The bummer about that is obviously there's probably, for lack of a better term, scalpers who are purchasing the tickets to make that profit. So it might, if I can find one that isn't ridiculous, not $3,000, but if I find one that maybe someone's just trying to make maybe
a few $100,
no, I was thinking like $3 or $4 off of, then no problem. You want a nice crisp $3 bill? Don't worry about it. I got you.
Maybe even a Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'll step up. I'll grab you an Abe Lincoln. You know what? Just kidding. I'm not going to keep going. I'll throw a Benjamin at it. All right.
Oh, well,
I'm going out on a limb.
You heard it from his mic to your ears.
Yeah. If you're listening out there with your Jedi level ticket, then you got yourself a
extra Jedi level ticket,
a crisp $100 bill coming your way
for your troubles.
Anyway, we did score some ticks. So Holochronicles is going to be at the 2020 celebration in Anaheim.
We'll be there. And this your first time?
Absolutely.
My first time.
Next to Disneyland and Galaxy's Edge.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what to do.
Yeah. And that's like, for me, that's right when school starts up. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And
I berated you a little bit last night.
I'm going to have to take a teacher day.
You might. Yeah. The first day of school, you're taking the day off.
The first day back for teachers. Right. I'm going to have to bow. Sorry, guys. I got some Star Wars to go.
So we're excited. However, we're still waiting. But we haven't received our Holochronicles podcast panel invite yet.
Still waiting on that.
It's early.
It's early. It's early.
So I'll double check the email, but I think it'll be coming.
I'll shoot an email to Bob Iger.
Sure.
And just see if
I call him Robert. All right, because I respect him.
Okay.
All right.
Well, his friends call him Bob. So, yeah, it's early. So we'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll come
on the podcast panel.
Let me check my email really quick right now.
Do that real quick.
Okay. No, nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. Move along. So this bit of news has to do with a theory that we it's not limited to us by any stretch of the imagination, but the question out there is, by the end of episode 9, is KYLO the bad guy, or is he redeemed? Is he a good guy? Where do we think of him?
We've hit this track a couple times.
Yes. And so, you're on record as saying what?
I don't remember. Well, if I'm on record, I don't want to contradict my record. So,
well, what do you think today?
I think redemption's going to happen.
You think redemption's happening?
Absolutely.
So I know I'm on record as saying that he will be the bad guy. He's going to end the movie as the bad guy,
which I don't mind, because I think I did say on record that they already redeemed Vader. So why not go another direction? However, what if that's not the focus? We shouldn't talk about that too much. Now I'm getting off track. Go.
So this has to do with it. There's a little bit of news. John Boyega on Instagram posted a picture of, and we saw this image in the teaser trailer of Rey, Finn, and Poe looking, kind of standing on that cliff, looking at what appears to be wreckage of the Death Star. I don't think it appears. I think it is at this point. And there was a comment under there that said, I get the feeling that they're missing a fourth person in this picture, perhaps Ben Skywalker, Ben Solo.
Yeah.
And John Boyega, his response to that was, I don't think he wants to come on our stroll. He's a villain. So again, that doesn't necessarily tip the scales one way or the other, but
only if it got deleted.
Well, it didn't. It didn't get deleted, but that's John Boyega. And again, you can't read too much into these things, because I will remind you, Josh, that a lot of the scenes and images that were in the very first Rogue One trailer weren't even in the movie.
They weren't the rising TIE fighter in front of Jin was like.
Wasn't even in.
It was an awesome scene. I was like, oh my God. And it didn't happen.
Yeah. And there was, I think, a line or two that she said in a trailer that didn't actually happen in the movie either. So all that to say is that, I don't read too much into it, although I'm taking that because I believe Kylo's going to be the bad guy in episode 9. And
so you're going to grab onto
so I'm going to grab onto that
nugget that
and
comes tweeting your way.
And I'm going to say, you know what? This doesn't deter me from what I thought.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Right. Little reinforcement.
Yeah.
But now that we disagree, then I'm just going to be like, what villain? What is a villain?
The villain, the bad guy.
What's the definition of villain? I mean,
bad guy is opposite of the good guy.
Sure.
Or in this case, the good cow.
Whatever. He's there. He gets there at some point because they're fighting on top of it. It's not the Millennium Falcon. Come on. There's water. There was water.
Water running over the top of a crashed Millennium Falcon.
No. Oh. How about a Death Star that's in big, giant, nice surfing waves out there.
So I wanted to follow that up with, if you were to go back and listen to episode 11 of the Holochronicles podcast.
Wow.
It's called Andy's Manifesto.
Yeah. Easy on that.
And it's just lays out a theory that I kind of formulated from other places, putting together, and some things I observed on my own about the eternal question up until December, who are Rey's parents, if it even matters, right? And it does matter because it's all people have been talking about for a few years. But so it matters on some level. But my theory, you go back and listen to that. It's an hour and a half long. But
there we go, manifesto.
I basically said that Rey's parents were Han and Leia, and I gave some reasons why. And please listen to them and disagree with me. I'm totally cool with that. I'm prepared to be wrong. So,
but you're still standing by that.
At this point, I'm still standing by it.
Rey's parents are still Han and Leia.
Yes. And
not drunken junk traders.
No, who are buried in a desert in an unmarked grave.
Right.
But one of the strongest pushbacks to my theory is like, well, then how come Han and Leia or Luke wouldn't be able to tell that Rey is a family member, is their niece, or
is this your
daughter?
Addendum? This is what
This is not an addendum, but this is just say, well, like they could feel him in the Force. Well, like Luke could totally feel who she was in the Force, or even Leia, even though she's not like super skilled in the Force, she does have some abilities we've seen. Like, how come she couldn't just feel her, right? Like feel her presence and the familiarity and the familial connection,
right?
Like, well, why couldn't they just feel him? They use the Force. Han doesn't use the Force, but he seems to be the one that pays her the most attention. Like, there's something a little bit more to this.
Gives her a blaster,
gives her a job. Yeah, come with me, and kind of puts his arm around her and come under my wing. That kind of thing. But the other two who have Force abilities, they don't sense it. How come they don't sense it? And well, my argument to that, Josh, is that Vader, for a long time, didn't know that he had a son and a daughter. Like, just because they were out there doesn't mean he necessarily sensed them, because they weren't on his radar. Like, he didn't know he needed to search them out or search the Force to find a feeling, of connection between them. And even the first time he faced or saw Luke, he didn't recognize him as his son.
Right.
And it wasn't until Empire Strikes Back where he drops the bombshell on him, like, hey, I'm your dad. But they had seen each other prior to that. And at least in the movies, which are the only canon, aside from some books that have come out in the last few years, there's no reason to think that Vader knew in A New Hope that Luke was
right. And they didn't interact at all, though, aside from the trench run. But
when Vader faced Obi-Wan, Luke was there.
Yeah.
And he definitely sensed Obi-Wan.
Right.
Before they met. But again, Obi-Wan's on his radar. He knows he's out there somewhere. He knows he's not dead.
So let me ask you this, based on that.
Okay.
So how would you explain, because obviously Luke and Leia were, whisked away, but Padme was dead.
Right.
So Padme, with the mother's instinct and recognition capabilities, was not around. Leia is.
Yes. But they thought Rey was dead. That was the reason why.
When did they think Rey was dead?
In the Jedi Temple, when Kylo burned it down, he took a few of them with him, killed all the rest. Well, he took Rey with them and then stashed her. And so that was according to my theory.
Right, exactly. So Rey was what, 3?
Well, 5-ish. In the vision, she looks like to be about 5 years old or so, at least 5, 6, maybe somewhere in that range. I don't want to get too much more fan theory here because it's an exhaustive point at this stage of the game. But yeah, they've thought for
you don't want
10. Let's say for 10 or 12 years, Han and Leia have thought and believed that their daughter was dead and gone.
Okay,
so she wouldn't be on their radar as someone to be looking out for, to keep an eye on, because they believe their son has turned to the dark side, and he has. And in fact, Leia has even been convinced that he's gone. He's not coming back.
Okay.
And even though it wasn't until the end of The Last Jedi that she got to that conclusion, they knew that he had fallen to the dark side. And so anyway, I'm digressing.
Okay.
And I'm probably boring people that are listening.
That's okay. No, I don't think so. I'm just going to bring it in because I don't mind, hey, we agree a lot. So I'm just kind of testing you a little bit here because I would challenge you. Would you recognize your 5-year-old daughter 12 years later?
If I thought she was dead?
Well,
I don't have the Force, remember?
Well, apparently it doesn't matter.
It might not, right? So, and by the way, Luke had kind of turned himself off to the Force after that incident with the Academy burning down. And
that's Uncle Luke. I don't know. That's Uncle. No uncle's going to remember what any kid looks like, right? I barely know what's going on. Who are you? Oh, yeah, it's my nephew.
So I don't know, Josh. I mean,
it's interesting. I'm not discounting it, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there because these are the questions that might arise.
People go through a lot of changes from age 5 to 17,
Yeah.
And so physical changes, personality is still kind of your personality, but like physically you could change enough to, you probably
I will say that your Han connection is very tangible, meaning Han definitely took an interest in Rey, like an advanced interest. And at first you thought it was like, just plot building because Han was going to go on, but then he didn't. Right. So,
well, they have a lot in common.
They do. And it was quick and it was fast. And she had a knack for the Falcon right off the bat, et cetera, et cetera.
And you can't take a lot of time to develop things.
Chewie likes her and Chewie doesn't like anyone. Yeah, actually he likes everyone, but he doesn't like anyone according to Han.
Not right off the bat. Anyway.
And if he loses it, space chess.
So, okay, enough of that, Josh.
Okay,
enough of that.
Moving on.
I know that you and I have both been taking in some Star Wars literature as of late, and go ahead and talk about what you've been consuming.
I've got a couple. I have a couple. I got one I'm looking forward to, and I know Alphabet Squadron is the one that I recently started listening to. I'm only 3 or 4 chapters in. It's really building right now, but I will say this about it. It's already interesting. Alexander Freed really is spinning a story right now. It's really good. It's, a defective, it's after the Death Star 2, D2, DS2. They actually used DS1 in the book. It was pretty cool. DS1. But DS2 is gone. The Empire's crumbling, but they're holding out. And there's a TIE fighter defector, which is going to join the squadron. That's about where I'm at, but it's very...
Is it the same Star Wars TIE fighter character that is in Battlefront 2?
It is not.
Okay. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't know the premise behind Alphabet Squadron other than it involves the ships from the Rebellion.
And technically, just because I didn't even read the summary, I don't know the premise except for what I just explained. Okay. Alphabet being, the X-wing, the Y-wing, the A-wing, the B-wing, and the U-wing. So Alphabet. Haha. It's pretty good, pretty clever. But so far, you get it. So far,
is Wedge in it?
Don't know. Haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
And if he is, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who couldn't use a little more Wedge?
So that's one I'm in. I'll give my review later, but I will say this: so far, so good. Okay. And the narrator's fine because I listen on audio, Audible usually because I'm driving.
Yeah.
So next, however, I'm very excited about. Well, actually, I should say, that'll come in the what have you gotten lately, but it's going to be another dang book. But I will say I'm pretty excited about Resistance Reborn, which releases on November 12th.
Hey, why is that significant, Josh?
It's significant because it's even titled on the top of the book, Journey to Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. So
when does that come out?
that comes out, I don't know, December sometime?
December-ish? So you're saying that a Star Wars canon book that comes out a month before the final of the 9 Star Wars movies.
Correct.
Is going to be important?
I think I would call it a must read.
Josh Most calls it a must read.
So it's a must read.
Is that on the back of the book? Is it an endorsement?
It's right there. It's got a little
Josh Most of the Holochronicles podcast calls it a must read.
It's 5 stars with laurels around him. It's Josh Most. You know,
he gives it 5 lightsabers.
Josh Most from easy. Oh, man. Okay,
well, I'm reading a book too, Josh.
Are you?
Yeah, and it's a guy that we are just kind of getting to know a little bit, and he's so far seems like a pretty rad guy. It's a fan fiction novel called Duel of the Fates, and it's written by a guy by the name of Pete Fletzer.
Yep.
I encourage you to look it up. It's you can download it off of his website if you just type in Pete Fletzer, Fletzer, for the last name there.
Free.
Yeah, it's a PDF you can download for free. And what it is, the reason why he wrote it, I'm kind of putting words in his mouth here, but I think I understand the reasoning behind it. It's called Duel of the Fates, but it's an episode 1 fan fiction. Not like a do-over, but just kind of a remake.
Augment.
Yeah, there's some things that he adds, takes creative license in, and adds into it because I think one of the reasons behind it was that he was so intrigued and enthralled by the character of Darth Maul, and at the end felt like he was just tremendously underutilized. Mm-hmm. And so there's more Darth Maul in it. There's more backstory on all of the characters. There's more details put in because you can do that in books, which you can't in movies. And so you're getting the episode 1 story. Right. He doesn't change the story or change what happens. But what he does do is that he backfills in with information and little side stories that kind of help explain how we got to episode 1 or some of the motives behind why some of the things happened in the book. And so I'm halfway through it. It's a little over 500 pages and I'm around 260 right now. And I'm loving it. Like I said, there's the familiarity of episode 1 that you're getting in it, but the little nuggets, the little chapters in between things in the movies that you're getting also are really cool. There's I don't want to. Yeah, don't spoil. I don't want to spoil all the cool parts, but there's a couple of really cool parts. And again, I'm halfway through the book.
Pete's a great writer.
Good writer. He's got some fun things on his website too. And
I'll actually do a shout out. I got turned on to Pete by listening to Beyond the Blast Doors. They have a great, I think it's 3 or 4 segments with Pete. He's an awesome guy. Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, and he has history with the Star Wars universe. He used to be a writer for Star Wars Galaxy magazine.
Yep.
Worked with, if you're a Star Wars collector, you know the name. He worked with Steve Sansweet for a bit, and he's like a rock star in the Star Wars collector world.
Totally.
But Rancho Obi-Wan. But yeah, Pete seems to be a nice guy, and he's written this really cool fan fiction called Duel of the Fates. And again, you can download it for free off of his website. And it's solid. It stands up.
It does.
And I'm only halfway.
You're a little further in than I am, but it does.
I can't wait to finish it. I'll probably finish it within the next day or two. So
thanks, Pete.
Yeah. Thank you, Pete, for that. And the shout out there too. Josh, I put a poll up earlier this week, and where's my drop for that? I don't have a drop for it.
We don't have I can't say that.
Yeah. But the poll question was, in episode 3, Mace confronts Palpatine as the Sith Lord. Palpatine rather quickly dismisses a few of the Jedi. And by dismiss, I mean kills them. But Mace, it's down to him and Mace, and it appears that Mace is defeating Emperor Palpatine. And then Anakin comes. And as you know, no spoilers here, I don't think at this point, but Anakin actually appears to save Palpatine from Mace and cuts his hand off, and then Palpatine force pushes him out into the open Coruscant skyline. Did he live, Josh?
Absolutely.
Mace lives. Hashtag Mace lives.
Hashtag.
But the poll question was, do you think Mace was really legit beating Palpatine, or do you think it was part of Palpatine's ploy to kind of play possum? That's a lot of P's and that's a lot of alliteration there. To play possum to manipulate Anakin into saving him and kind of owing him a debt of gratitude, that kind of thing, and really hooking his teeth into him.
Absolutely. Do not think that Mace was winning. No offense. I love Mace, and Mace does live, but that was a full manipulation. And we know that, look, Palpatine doesn't stumble in to anything. And I think we're even going to see that again
in episode 9. Really? He's not just a cackling voice.
I don't believe so.
Or a vision.
He could just be a topic in episode 9, or, a contributor to the story as far as what has happened based on his machinations. So I think that Palpatine absolutely manipulated, because what he was trying to do was get Anakin to realize the folly of the Jedi, and like they're not supporting you. And Mace was his biggest detractor, Anakin's biggest detractor.
Yeah,
so why
he said no to him a lot?
Oh yeah, if what you say is true, then
you will have my trust. Yep. You'll have gained my trust.
So even then, he's telling Anakin, "I don't trust you." And for Palpatine to put Mace in front of Anakin is the perfect opportunity to show him, look, who's on your side? It's me, and here I am. Here's this guy that doesn't trust you. He's got me dead to rights. Possibly.
Help me.
Now that right there, I think you should take that. Look, Lucas, as far as dialogue goes, isn't some kind of crafty.
He's not Bill Shakespeare.
No. If he makes a character go, help me, who is obviously very powerful. It's to set up the position of Palpatine is playing possum.
Right. And
PPP.
Don't forget that Palpatine had just talked to Anakin about the ways of the Sith that the Jedi find a little unnatural,
right,
that could end up saving lives, the people, right, saving the people that he loves. So he reminds him of that. And he's also pitting him against.
I just had like chills, because can you imagine Mace is back in episode 9? I just
I know
it's going to happen.
Remember our if kitchen sink theory?
If JJ just wants to just punch one home,
there would be an eruption.
I would cry. I'd just cry.
Just openly weep.
Mace. I start chanting for about 30 seconds over everything. Pause it. Hey, pause it up there.
No. So I think the easier of the two to believe is that Palpatine is just manipulating Anakin.
Oh, really? Oh, so you're just saying my theory is easy. I'm phoning in this theory.
No, you're not phoning it in. I think it's legitimate, what you said. And as it turns out, the poll was about 70-30. And
I had read some of the arguments against that, because obviously you want to give Mace some power and blah, blah, blah. But
right,
it just doesn't jive with the story. There's no reason to give Mace the power if you're going to throw him out a window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't progress anything.
They make Mace in other areas, in other parts of Star Wars, to maybe be to be Yoda's equal as far as using a lightsaber and like. Anyway, he is a powerful Jedi, though we don't really get to see it in.
But didn't we see that Palpatine was Yoda's equal? You know what I'm saying?
We did. We did.
So equal versus equal versus equal. Except that.
And Dooku was supposed to be some wizard with wizard.
Hey,
Christopher Lee.
That perfect.
I didn't mean to do that.
Saruman.
But Yeah. Anyway, so I mean,
it could go either way.
It can, but
I think that
I think the 70% of the people are correct.
I think the 70-30 is a good kind of indicator of like, yeah, you know, I might even beg the question of why even ask? Because obviously Palpatine was manipulating Anakin for 3 movies, you know, so why, or 2 at least, you know, so why not?
Yes.
Well, 3, no, he met young Annie and saw something, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. All right, Josh, we're going to move it along here.
Show me your collection.
So this week's collection that was featured on Saturday, hashtag Show Me Your Collection, was a repeat person, Todd from @WSTR Media. He was the previous week's Show Me Your Collection feature because he had the shoulder to wrist tattoo sleeve of Imperial helmets and Boba Fett's to throw in there as well. And it was awesome. And we've already talked about how cool that was. And that is a collection all of its own, of a different variety. But he also has a more traditional collection that is made up of gentle giant busts, figures and vehicles, a lot of Funkos. And what I like the range that he showed in his collection. It wasn't just like one thing. It was a lot of things. Excuse me. And what I appreciated about it is that everything was in its place.
Yeah.
He had books all in this one part. He had Funkos all in this place. He had figures, he had busts, all together. And they were all in display cases and shelves, and everything was organized. Everything had a spot. It was intentional. And I know that it took time to do that.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you, Todd, not only for your tattoo, your 6-year tattoo that looks incredible, but I know collecting something like this has taken longer than 6 years, and the time that you put into putting everything in its spot, and if you're anything like me, you've probably rearranged some things from time to time, move it around, or maybe as you get things daily, as you get things, you kind of have to make space and move things and, rearrange. But, it was very, very cool.
Thanks, Todd.
It was quite a collection. No one's going to question your fandom, Todd.
Love sharing that. Yeah. As if the tattoo wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Go ahead
wear
and
it
back
around
it up with a sweet collection.
Forever.
Yep.
Very cool. So shout out to Todd. His personal Twitter handle is at Tozod. There's a bunch of Z's in there. Forgive me. I don't know. I think it's like 4 TOZZZZ OD or something like that.
Sure.
But I do know that he is at WSTR Media. He's one of those podcaster guys.
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy then.
Yeah.
One of the best.
I mean,
podcaster guys.
Why can't you? I mean, there's nothing not to like about a Star Wars podcaster. All 20,000 of us. But thank you, Todd. I very, very, very much appreciate what you have and how you display it, and keep up the good work.
Easter eggs.
This was fun.
This was fun. And I recently posted this on Twitter. Again, you should follow us on Twitter because that's where we do a lot of our interaction with people. And it's also how we put out things leading up to podcasts or just after podcasts come out that tie into what we're talking about here. But a friend of mine and I, we were watching Revenge of the Sith a few days ago. And we were towards the end of the movie when right before Palpatine was confronted by Mace, coincidentally, he was in his office talking with Anakin. And he revealed to Anakin in this scene that he was a Sith. Mm-hmm. And Anakin left going to get the Jedi to arrest him. But before he did that, there was a shot of Palpatine and Anakin walking out of a part of his office. And on the tables, there were 2 tables, and right in the middle on each table, it was like built into the table. It wasn't like a sheet or a tablecloth, but it was an image of the Death Star. Like it was bang.
Yeah.
Right there in episode 3, an image of the Death Star, circular, and it was made to look 3-dimensional. And it had 4 entrances and exits. I posted a picture of this.
Check it out on Twitter. It's a good find.
It had 4 entrances and exits, like the digital image of the Death Star 2 and Return of the Jedi had. It was like, so his name was Cole, who I was watching it with. And Cole goes, "Hey, did you see the tables?" And I said, "There's a Death Star on." We saw it like at the same time. And I couldn't tell you how many times he's seen that movie and I've seen it together, but it's probably over 20 times.
Right.
And we both noticed that thing at the same time. It was pretty cool. How that went down. He was like, "You see the tail?"
And also an Easter egg that you really don't see. I haven't seen out there before.
And that was why we got so excited about it, because we weren't told about this. This is something that we both discovered on our own at the same time, essentially. And I did a quick search and I couldn't find, under the Revenge of the Sith Easter eggs. I didn't find. I didn't look real hard.
Sure, it might be out there, but it's cool to find it on your own.
Probably out there. Yeah, it's probably out there. I'd have to think I can't be the first person, or Cole can't be the first person who's ever seen that. But
right.
But it was fun because we noticed it on our own. That's awesome. Nobody told us that it was there. And so we put some pictures up on Twitter. Go check it out. Or next time you're watching Revenge of the Sith, keep an eye out for the tables in the background there that they walk by. Very, very cool. And again, when you notice those things on your own, you don't have to be told. It makes it that much more exciting. Yeah. Last thing here. We are kind of moving along. What's our time at?
Yeah, we're over there. 40 minutes, man.
Hey,
let's wrap it up. Hey.
Collector tip.
Collector tip for the week. Before we get to the collector tip, Josh, have you gotten anything lately?
I did. I've got something in the mail, which I won't reveal until next pod. It's got to be in possession. That's apparently a rule, even though I own it via, USPS right now. But
you have purchased it.
I have paid for it.
But possession.
What I did get, and as a matter of fact, it was after listening to Pete's pod where he interviewed another author.
Around the Galaxy?
Around the Galaxy was the Han Solo Adventures, the 3-book combined into one trilogy. So it's a Legends now. It's not canon, but I'm excited to read it because the one thing is that Pablo Hidalgo, if I'm saying that right, I have to pronounce it.
He is a content supervisor
master
for Lucasfilm.
Yep. He writes the foreword, and the one thing I took from that was how impressed he was by the author, which is Brian Daley, which I don't think is with us anymore, just per his foreword, but about how he took and created this Han character through these 3 books, now combined into one trilogy here, with only one movie, with just New Hope. And what we knew about Han from New Hope, and we knew he was a scoundrel, and et cetera, and then just crafted these great stories which hold up against Han's character going forward, in the next 2 movies and beyond. So,
so he kind of nailed who Han was.
He nailed who Han was, and you might even ask the question: is who Han became because of these books, et cetera, which is cool.
And those books came out before Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yeah, I believe so. As a matter of fact, I was going to look that up because you asked that question. I was like, wow, yeah, it had to have come out before, before Empire. I'm not seeing the original copyright, but I can find it here because I do have it in front of me. It says 1979, but is that? Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, 1979. Yeah.
So I've read one of those books out of the trilogy, and it is good. And it's not real big either. The 3 books themselves, I believe all 3 of them are less than 300 pages.
Yeah, they're quick reads.
Yeah,
but I'm excited about it because it's normally. Like I said, I couldn't find it on audio. It makes me sound very lazy, but I just spend so much time driving that it's the best way to absorb. So I'm excited to read it and kind of experience the Legends part of Han, which, by the way, while it may not be canon, it still represents the character of Han as we know him. So there you go.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for you. And I know you'll give us an update after you read 1, 2, or all 3 of those.
I'll read all 3. But so what did you get?
Come
on, this will be a first if you say what you're really going to say. I mean, you got stuff.
but nothing new.
Yeah. Nothing you're going to keep.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's not necessarily true. I bought a lot of Black Series figures from a guy. And while I'm by no means collecting Black Series, there are a couple that I'm going to keep.
Sure.
Cool
ones.
Just like maybe one or two. But I'm selling them to friends, and
I got a few.
Yep. I'm not necessarily looking to make a profit on them, but just get them to the right people. In this case, these aren't for profit.
Cool.
Yeah. So I got a couple Black Series guys, nothing crazy. The newest wave of Black Series figures would be the Jump Trooper, 000, and the black little R2 looking droid.
Yeah.
As well as who else is in that group?
I don't know. I've got them coming because I think I did Pulse with those. So
okay,
we'll see. I'll let you know when they show up.
Okay. Anyway, they keep making very cool Black Series figures.
They're my favorite.
And it's so hard not to want all of them.
Yep.
Because they are very cool. Even the ones that are less popular are still very cool. Like they're still very well made, and whether you take them out of the box or not, they're definitely cool.
In my opinion, they're what action figures, they're the size and detail that action figures should have always been.
6 inches.
Yeah.
Prefer that.
They're perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
They do take up some shelf space.
They sure the heck do.
Much more than the 3 3/4 figures.
Darn it.
Anyway, so the collector tip for today, sometimes when you go buy things secondhand, so we're talking about some of the like older vintage things or even things from the prequels. When you buy them, let's say you buy a box full of stuff, like, hey, I got this box full of Star Wars stuff. It's just been in my attic, which is a common scenario. There are some things in there that typically are beat up, played with. Like Star Wars toys were played with. They were super popular.
As they should be.
Yeah. And that also means sometimes they're in subpar shape too. So I can't tell you, I've probably gotten 10 Millennium Falcons over the course of my collecting time, and that have just been beat to heck and awesome. I'm glad they were. That means that they were loved.
Right.
They were played with frequently, and they were crashed and probably thrown down the stairs a few times, and but
swallowed by a space slug,
an Exogorth. But as a result, like some of the things you get in the box are like, well, no, I can't save this. This is busted, or there's not enough there that's worth keeping, or but I'm going to caution you on throwing things away. Oftentimes, even the things that are broken, there are parts that you can salvage, even if it's just the screws that hold pieces of plastic together. Mm-hmm. Those screws, they do have a market. They're not worth a lot, but sometimes if you have the ability to keep parts, like I do have a 3-drawer little
plastic tote thing.
Yeah, that I keep parts in. I keep decals. I keep parts that just because I know I'm gonna still keep doing what I'm doing, and sometimes the parts that I have saved end up completing new things that I get that are missing parts.
Right.
So much like every part of the buffalo was used by the Native Americans, right? And they salvaged everything they could.
The Tauntaun
yes,
the Hoth Americans.
I am going to encourage you as a collector tip to save as much of it as you can. Space, allowing for the space that you have to keep things, but keep the screws, keep the lights, keep the battery, keep anything that comes off as a part. Hang on to them. So because it might help out later on, or it might
help someone else.
It might help someone. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're finishing my
sentences. Yeah.
We are on the same wavelength there.
There it is.
But yeah, keep the parts, keep what you can, because you never know where they might end up and who that might help.
Very cool.
So
that's a great tip. I love it.
That's your collector tip. And Josh, That's all we got.
Let's do it. That's it.
That's all we got today.
We're so excited. We've got more pods coming up. And we also may be guest appearing on some other venues and shows.
Yeah,
and
little teaser out there. Look for us in maybe some other areas of Twitter and other Star Wars related podcasts, because
the community is awesome.
The community is awesome, and we're starting to get maybe just a tiny little foothold, and as a result, we're making some friends, and we're meeting a lot of cool people. And we already have, like, we've got some awesome Twitter followers,
absolutely,
and listeners of this pod. And
amazing, really.
We really appreciate that, but yeah, keep an eye out or keep an ear out for other places where we could possibly show
up. And also
up.
Let us know if I know we've got one follower who's got some celebration tickets. If you've acquired some of those tickets, let us know. We'd love to have a meetup while we're down there with our BMBers, which would be fantastic. We might have a small BMB party. Now, by that, I mean, it'll probably be at a table in the food court,
and we'll fist bump.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
I'll wear a name tag. Just so you know
name tag. There it is. But
the good news is we've got over a year to plan this.
We sure do. We could go for 2 tables.
That is if we're not too busy
on the panel.
On the panel.
I get it. Yeah, let me check my email.
We just
not yet.
Nothing yet.
All right, we're good.
All right, Bobby Iger, come on.
So anyway, thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us at Holochronicles on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and share with your friends. Share with everybody. We're just wavelengthing right now. Huh?
Thank you for the share.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid to give us a review, and let's chat.
Yeah, like us and all that jazz. Thanks. See you guys later.